is going to be feeling very, very upset and very, very stressed out or worried. And so the responses do not come in the manner that we expect the child to perform in that manner. Apart from that, a lot of professionals also feel that the testing may not be required, as soon as the child shows any symptoms. They'll continue to do many more intervention strategies, which is right that you need to do intervention strategies, but very often the process gets delayed. And in that process, the child starts having many, many behavioral symptoms. And these behavioral symptoms can go on where the child may be having issues of anger or very low self-esteem, or getting very stressed, or getting into very impulse control, those kinds of behaviors. So indeed, the psychological evaluation actually provides a very structured, organized, and a descriptive manner of the current psychological functioning of a child, especially for the cognitive abilities and the emotional experiences the child is going through. It also offers an insight to the severity of the particular disturbance. If the child is having problems in his attention span, or the child is having difficulty in his reading or writing, or his mathematic expression, it gives us a fair enough idea to understand where the child is functioning. And it's a very formal and a structured way of gathering objective information about the person or the child, and especially for the purposes of making decisions and sorting out questions, and how an occupational therapist needs to work, or how a special educator needs to work on the child, and how the school, the school departments over there, the SEND departments, get on to assisting the child with any difficulties, especially children and adolescents. So a comprehensive evaluation actually identifies these needs for therapy and highlights many issues which are required for their treatment. And sometimes we get to see a lot of comorbidities. So very often in my assessments, the child is probably referred for poor school performance. And in that process, when I do an assessment over a period of 3 or 4 sessions, very often we see that either the child has poor eyesight, and that's quite a high number, and which has got missed out over all those years, or the child has a hearing problem, or the child probably has some seizures which has got missed out. So an evaluation, and especially by a person who's trained to pick up children with special needs or with their comorbid behaviors, is very, very important. So it's also important for the teachers, the regular school teachers, to be sensitized and created awareness on how to pick up children with difficulties, or how to pick up these children where they see any cognitive deficits, or they suspect any kind of academic issue, or maybe a behavioral issue, or maybe an abuse which has taken place, and because of the abuse the child is also not performing properly. So very often the child may be intellectually very good, the child may be having academic performance which is very good, and suddenly there is a regression. The child is referred for an assessment thinking that probably there's a learning disability, but over the assessment, where you do a psychometric or a psychodynamic assessment, you see that the child has probably got abused by someone. And that abuse is not just child sexual abuse, but maybe there's an emotional abuse also, or there's trauma which is going on for some reason, or the family dynamic is affected. So it's important to see the severity of these symptoms and how they progressed over the time. It helps us in establishing a diagnosis, and thus helps us in either vocational planning or academic planning, or how to get some assistance from the different educational boards. So it's the assessment has to be intervention based. Intervention based in the sense it has to be linked to the curriculum in some manner or the other, and the child gets to learn many more study skills, and there are curriculum objectives on that. It has to be in a manner where it is sensitive to the child's progress. That means very often when children hear that you are being taken to a psychologist, their first defense is, I don't have a problem, I think you have a problem. I don't have a problem, maybe the school has a problem, or maybe the teacher is not behaving properly with me. So there is a denial to this whole process. So it's important to talk to the child, to engage in conversation with the child and the family. When you're referring a child, both of these people need to be talked to, because uh, very often when you talk to them, you come to know their fears, why they wouldn't want to go to a psychologist. Or they'll be referred at a time which is the board exam time. And very often in my assessments, I've seen that the older children come without their parents, and there's some kind of a lying happening over there, and they're looking for extra benefits. So the person who's doing psychological assessment has to be very aware of these kinds of problems also, which you face. They're very sensitive issues. Um, so when we do an assessment, it's not just the child referred to the psychologist for an assessment. I think more important than that is uh, the child has to be seen in different settings. That means I need information from the school, the class teacher, or the subject teachers as to how the child is performing in the school. How has the child been performing over the years, where the regression has happened. I also need to know what kind of behavior is there in the playground, or maybe when the child is going in for any music classes or any other co-curricular activities, how the child's behavior is there. So I need information both from the parent, the teacher, or any professionals where the child is already going in for some therapies. So that helps us in understanding where the child is having a problem. And I'd be happy, I didn't begin by saying I'd be happy if you ask me questions or you put it on the chat box, because it's easier for me to understand many more things also. And I'll be able to address many of your queries also. It's important to go through those queries. Um, Let me say very often children are slow in their performance, and maybe there's a reason that they have a thyroid issue. Maybe they have they are on some medication, and the child usually goes off to sleep during the school hours, or the because nowadays we are facing the COVID situation. Everybody is online, so the children, what they are doing is they're online even in the night. So when it's time to get into the classroom situation in the morning, they're sleepy, or they just switch on their internet, come on the class, and then they go back to sleep. So there are many more such problems also. And we also need to understand that there are sometimes allergies also, and allergies also inhibit the child or also create problems in the child's attention span and their academic performance. So the evaluation basically requires a very good parent interview. Most of the problems or most of the assessment starts off with the history taking. If your history taking is very, very good, it's including birth history details, it's including your early developmental milestones, it's including your social history, your play history, your school history, and how you've been performing through the school years, or any kind of therapies that the child has been. If we get a report of the therapist on how the child has been performing. These days I'm seeing a lot of children online, which are smaller children also, and not just from India but various countries, where I'm seeing them online, and I'm seeing when they've been in therapies what kind of progress has happened. So it's the history which gives us a lot more details. So you have to spend a lot of time in getting that history, and good family dynamic history also. What are the sleep patterns of the child, eating patterns of the child, the social history, whether the child is playing or not playing, what kind of games does he or she play, what is the relationship with the grandparents or the extended family, or any psychiatric history in the family, both sides of the family. So I'm just giving you these details. These details are important to understand and pick up a lot more diagnostic areas from there. Thereafter, a in-depth clinical interview with the child to understand his or her behavior, to determine the child's reality testing, that how, where the problems are lying, his degree of maturity, when you take that clinical depth interview, his degree of verbal skills, how expressive is he, and so on. So all of that comes in. And the other area in the evaluation is the interview and the feedback with teachers at the school. Very often parents do not want to give us that feedback about the school, because they fear that the school might say certain things which might create a bias in us. But actually it's the other way around, that school information actually gives us further input whether the child is only having problems in the home setup, in the tuition setup, or it's also in the school setup. So all these areas are important for us to understand. The developmental assessment actually comprises of a few areas which most of you would be aware of, which is the uh, you know the gross motor area skills, the fine motor skills or the adaptive skills, the receptive language, the expressive language, the social skill development. All those are important. And also we see if the child is having delays in development and difficulties with these gross or fine motor abilities, any visual motor function difficulties. uh, I've had children who've been diagnosed with Balance syndrome, and they came in with developmental deficiencies. Any auditory short-term memory losses which are there. Receptive language may be very good, but the expressive language is very, very delayed, or the child is having specific problems in his speech and language area. The assessment is also important for the fine motor skill development, especially which is causing any slow or labored handwriting. Those are the skills also which needs to be focused on. Um, Sometimes what is important is, a physical examination may or may not have been done for the child. So one can ask for a physical examination by a physician if you are feeling that the child is probably not sleeping well, or is having a seizure during the sleep time, or is waking up at certain hours. So get hold of an assessment by the physician. When I say the school related assessment, the school related assessment is basically primarily to find out two areas, which is the ADHD area or any other coexisting problems with the ADHD. It could be the behaviors. So those informal assessments or those feedbacks from the school are also very, very important. There are tools that we psychologists definitely use to assess children with, different kinds of problems. Uh, Most of you would have heard the ADHD, uh, you know, screening tool, which is the Conners scale, which is the most prevalent one. And we use both the Conners teachers rating scale and the parent rating scale. And then there are the adolescent ones also and the adult ones. So I prefer to use most of these scales for different age ranges. It gives us a lot of understanding, and especially the latest version gives us many more areas, especially in the learning area, or in the behavioral area, or in the peer group, peer related problems that they have. Those areas we get a lot of understanding. Uh, the other area where I like to focus a lot is on the child behavior checklist, the which is usually the Achenbach child behavior checklist. It gives us both the areas of the behaviors, and for any other DSM 5 related or DSM 4 TR related, any other problems that the child is going through. Are there any questions right now that you would want me to answer? If there's any question, you can put it on the chat box.
Yeah,
And
please, you can ask the question. I have unmuted everyone. You can unmute yourself and ask the question.
so I
If
have
you,
a question here, Loka,
yeah,
where
please, ma'am, you can reply. I don't have that question. Yeah.
yeah. So what to do when the child refuses to attend the remedial intervention session? Now, this is pretty common. What can be done is to develop a rapport with the child. And let's not just focus on the remedial session or the intervention session. Just look at the play area at this point. Let's just create a rapport. Let's just have fun with the child. The therapist, the parent, and the child will just have fun with each other. And when you have that fun session, from that fun session, you can start including a lot of therapeutic techniques. And believe me, it works excellently. most children love to come back to the therapist because they are seeing a lot of play area over there. I hope I've answered that question for the person who asked me. Yes, I think
Yeah.
Dinesh Kumar has raised his hand.
Yeah, Dinesh ji, please unmute yourself. Yes, Dinesh ji, unmute yourself. There is a one question, ma'am. Asma Nikat. I want to know about the checklist could be used by the teachers for behavioral concern of the children.
Yes, you can get these checklists, which are, a lot of checklists are available, easily available online. And there are many times we do trainings for teachers where we give them certain questionnaires and certain questions which are already tested on a larger population, and they can also pick up children with behavioral issues.
Yeah, and Neetu has asked, how do we help the children, especially child with special need, to cope up with bullying from their classmates? It's the bullying behavior.
Yes. So now bullying is going to happen to children who are typical or atypical. It has happened to you, to me, to everyone. Bullying will happen, but it's difficult for children with special needs to get help. So we have to do that task analysis for them, where we have to create some hypothetical situations for them and give them those situations and teach them how to deal at that time. We have to actually do some kind of modeling for them, some kind of teaching of those areas, and children actually learn a lot. So if you create a little role play over there, child will understand how to deal with the situation, especially if he or she is getting bullied. And we have to sensitize and create awareness to them that this is going to happen. It's not that it's not going to happen, but we have to learn how to deal with it.
जी. And the next question we have, कृपया हिंदी में भी समझाने का कष्ट करें.
सॉरी, मैं अंग्रेजी में भूल जाती हूँ.
तो मैं थोड़ा सा कहूंगा कि थोड़ा सा ब्रीफ अंग्रेजी में भी
बोल दूंगी, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है.
जी जी.
अच्छा, यहाँ पर एक सवाल ये भी पूछा गया है कि लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटी के लिए कौन से टेस्ट यूज करें. जी,
ये टेस्टिंग से तो बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं. अभी तो मैं मशवरा बंद कर रखा हूँ. व्हेन वी विल स्टार्ट मशवरा, वी विल डू समथिंग ऑन टेस्टिंग आल्सो विथ यू मैम.
ठीक है. जी, ठीक है. लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटी के लिए देखिए, हमने सिर्फ लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटी नहीं करनी होती है, उसके साथ में एसोसिएटेड चीजें करनी है. एक तो बुद्धि की जांच करनी है, इंटेलिजेंस टेस्टिंग करनी होती है, उसके साथ में जो भी एकेडमिक टेस्ट है, या तो हम निमहांस की बैटरी यूज करते हैं, वो अक्सर यूज करी जाती है, जिसमें हर एक एरिया ऑफ एकेडमिक्स टेस्ट किया जाता है, या और भी और टेस्ट हैं जो इंडियन उसमें नॉर्म्स नहीं है, लेकिन वाइड रेंज अचीवमेंट टेस्ट हो गया, या वीएट हो गया, वेस्लर्स इंडिविजुअल अचीवमेंट टेस्ट हो गया. ये वाले टेस्ट आपको यूज करने पड़े, पर अक्सर निमहांस बैटरी यूज करी जाती है, और साथ में कुछ परसेप्शन के टेस्ट भी करते हैं.
ओके, एंड वी हैव knowing the child's need, creating learning environment, and after building up rapport with the child, still the child is not interested in the session. What could be the reason? आपने जो बोला था पहले भी.
हाँ, तो हो सकता है हमें अपना तरीका चेंज करना पड़े. आपने रैपो कर दिया, उसको ब्रेक दे दीजिए. फिर शायद उसको अभी जरूरत नहीं है, या वो लर्न कर गया है वो वाले बिहेवियर्स, और अक्सर हम लोग थेरेपी में बड़ा रिपीट करते हैं, तो वो मोनोटोनस हो जाता है कभी कभी बच्चों के लिए. सो आपको थोड़े से पैटर्न्स अपने चेंज करने पड़ेंगे, और आप, क्योंकि आप पेरेंट हैं, आप खुद सीख सकते हैं कि आपने बच्चे के साथ में कैसा व्यवहार करना है, क्या क्या आप सिखा सकते हैं. तो आप थेरेपिस्ट से बहुत सारी चीजें सीख के आप बच्चे को सिखा सकते हैं, पर हमें फोर्स नहीं करना है बच्चे को. जहां हम फोर्स करते हैं बच्चे को, बच्चा उतना ही दूर भागता है उस चीज से.
ये तो बहुत ही सच्चाई है. अगर हम वो उससे कर. ओके, एनीबॉडी हैज एनी क्वेश्चन? दिनेश कुमार, you have raised your hand. Yes, please.
I'm Jennifer from Chennai.
Yeah, please, Jennifer.
Ma'am, my curiosity is that how is there for a teacher to understand whether his or her student going through behavioral problems and is in need of a psychologist? How will they identify whether the student is having a problem or not? Do they have a simple questionnaire which they could administer for the entire strength of children, or because not everyone could spot a child with a problem, and these days I'm seeing teachers cannot spend much time with the students. So it is highly impossible to identify all the 40 children and their behavior, and is it normal or is it abnormal, and many things. So do they have any questionnaires, simple questionnaires that could be administered?
So right now, Jennifer, you said?
Jennifer,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Jennifer. Right now, Jennifer, I don't have it with me, but I can definitely get hold of it and share it with Alok. तो वो आप लोग सबके साथ में share कर लेगा वो वाला, right, Alok?
जी. I'll put it in the website.
Yeah,
Thank you.
can use that. We have created that ourselves. But I'll also share कुछ और भी questionnaires मैं share कर दूंगी. बहुत छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं जो टीचर देख सकती है. जरूरी नहीं है कि एक ही बारी एक व्यवहार किया और उस बच्चे को प्रॉब्लम है. अगर वो व्यवहार बार बार प्रॉब्लम वाला आता है, रिपीटेडली कर रहे जा रहा है और वो 2-3 महीने से कर रहा है या 3-4 हफ्तों से कर रहा है, तब वो प्रॉब्लम बिहेवियर माना जाएगा. झूठ बोलना, अक्सर झूठ बोलना, या सो जाना क्लास के अंदर, या किसी बच्चे के साथ में बैड लैंग्वेज के साथ में बात करना, बड़ों के साथ बैड लैंग्वेज यूज करना, आर्ग्यूमेंटेटिव बिहेवियर करना, या पेरेंट्स का कोई रिपोर्ट आता है. सो आपको क्या करना है कि एक स्कूल वाला रिपोर्ट आपके पास होना चाहिए, पेरेंट का रिपोर्ट होना चाहिए और आपकी अपनी ऑब्जर्वेशन होनी चाहिए. उससे आप पकड़ सकते हैं कि बच्चे का बिहेवियर, उसको काउंसलिंग की जरूरत है. कभी कभी फैमिली काउंसलिंग की जरूरत पड़ती है, सिर्फ बच्चे को काउंसलिंग की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. बहुत छोटी सी चीज है कि बच्चा एंग्शियस हो गया है. अभी कोविड के कारण मेरे पास इतने बच्चे हैं जो इतने एंजाइटी से भरे हुए हैं, लेकिन कोई और वजह भी होती है, जैसे दूसरा बच्चा हो गया, यू गॉट अ सिबलिंग, and as soon as the sibling arrives, the older sibling starts feeling very very jealous और separation anxiety हो जाती है. उसके कारण भी बहुत सारे behavioral issues आते हैं. तो मैं एक एग्जांपल आपको दे रही हूँ. या माँ बाप का बहुत झगड़ा हो रहा है और काफी समय से झगड़ा हो रहा है, या पेरेंटल सेपरेशन हो रही है, उसके कारण बिहेवियरल इश्यूज आ रहे हैं. सो बहुत सारे कारण हो सकते हैं जिसके कारण बच्चा बिहेव इस तरह से कर सकता है. या उसका रिग्रेस हो गया, बहुत अच्छी पढ़ाई कर रहा था लेकिन अभी रिग्रेशन हो गई है उसकी पढ़ाई में, उसका ध्यान नहीं लगता, उसके नंबर कम आ रहे हैं, या उसके टिक बिहेवियर आ गया. सो बहुत सारी ऐसे इश्यूज आ सकते हैं. तो एज अ टीचर आप पकड़ सकते हैं, आप समझ सकते हैं और साइकोलॉजिस्ट से डिस्कस कर सकते हैं इस बारे में.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, and another question, ma'am.
जी.
Once you have evaluated the student and you have understood the problem, do you work along with the student's teacher, and do you give them pointers to how to deal them in the class, or do you just suggest the possible I'm not able to get it properly.
You know what, it's pointless to do an assessment if I'm not able to help the child, if I'm not able to intervene. So
Yes.
assessment is pointless. It's like going for a blood test and I know my thyroid level is low and I do nothing about it. So I will have to work on the intervention strategy. सिर्फ लिख के नहीं देना है recommendation, लेकिन टीचर के साथ, पेरेंट के साथ, ट्यूशन टीचर के साथ, कभी कभी म्यूजिक टीचर के साथ, स्पोर्ट टीचर के साथ में आपको मिलके एक मीटिंग करनी पड़ती है जिसमें बच्चे के साथ में कैसे कैसे इंटरवेंशंस यूज करने, आप वो सब चीजें कर सकते हो. सो इट्स अ कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव डील,
Comprehensive approach. Okay.
multidisciplinary team which works with the child, and the child will show improvement.
Ma'am, we
Thank
have
you.
three more questions in chat
Good.
box. Do you think the alternative therapies will help in academic intervention?
I wish I knew what the alternative therapy
Yeah,
is.
that is what I
I
also.
want to understand what is alternative therapy.
Yeah, and the second question is, but ma'am, when we use the state assessment tools, will that affect the reliability of the test due to culture differences? For example, we use the GLAD anywhere in India.
Yes, sometimes, but मोटा मोटा हमें मिल जाती है. हमें सिर्फ वो एक लेवल ढूंढने के लिए नहीं चाहिए, हमें मोटा मोटा उसका लेवल समझ में आ जाता है, उसी से हम इंटरवेंशन स्ट्रैटेजी यूज कर सकते हैं। जब हमारे देश में और इतनी सारी असेसमेंट टूल्स नहीं है, कुछ टूल है, तो उसको तो यूज करके हम एटलीस्ट क्रिएट सम इंटरवेंशन स्ट्रैटेजी, एंड नॉट जस्ट से कि वो एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया में ही उसके नॉर्म्स हैं बहुत सारे ऐसे टेस्ट हैं जहाँ नॉर्म्स लिमिटेड है, बट आई थिंक वी नीड टू गो बियॉन्ड दैट पॉइंट।
Can you suggest some behavioral checklist which we can use in the school setting? You have already told that you will share some checklist with us. I will upload in the website.
So I have one more question, that homeopathic medication.
Yeah.
Now, it depends. Why do we want to use homeopathic medication? First and foremost, if the child has academic delays, or the child has, at all these areas where the child has got special needs, why are we looking at medication?
Yes, definitely.
What is it that I'm going to achieve with medication? Am I going to use it as a placebo effect, or am I going to use it because I feel that इससे बहुत सारा फर्क पड़ जाएगा? एक बात याद रखो, आप कोई भी ऑल्टरनेटिव टेक्निक यूज करो, थेरेपी मत छोड़ो।
Yes, very true, very true.
अगर आपने ऑल्टरनेटिव चीजें यूज करी हैं तो थेरेपी छोड़ दी, तो इसका मतलब हमने और डिले कर दिया बच्चे की डेवलपमेंटल अचीवमेंट में। डोंट डू दैट।
एक क्वेश्चन है मैम कि डज द मेडिकेशन हेल्प चाइल्ड विथ हाइपर एक्टिविटी?
यस एंड नो, डिपेंड करता है। आपने एक बार ही देखा है बच्चे को, कितने समय से है उस बच्चे में अटेंशन डेफिसिट। मैंने पहले जैसे कहा, स्कूल में भी है, घर पे भी है, प्लेग्राउंड में भी है, ट्यूशन सेंटर में भी है, तो फिर अटेंशन डेफिसिट की बात हम कर सकते हैं। तो एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव असेसमेंट करने की उस बच्चे की जरूरत है, और दवाई की काफी फायदे भी होते हैं। और लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने दवाई दी, बहुत पेरेंट्स क्या करते हैं, सुन लेते हैं, दवाई के लिए चले जाते हैं, फिर वो देते हैं तो उनको लगता है अरे वो तो आज ज्यादा सो रहा था, नहीं उसको कॉन्स्टिपेशन हो गई तो हमने बंद कर दिया। मैं किसी के अगेंस्ट नहीं हूं, लेकिन एज अ मेंटल हेल्थ प्रैक्टिशनर बहुत सारी दवाइयों के साइड इफेक्ट होते हैं, जिसमें क्रोसिन का भी साइड इफेक्ट होता है। सो अगर मैं एक छोटी सी चीज से बच्चे को दूर कर दूं दवाई से, और मैंने अभी तो फायदा देखा ही नहीं, फायदा तो 2-3 हफ्ते में आता है, एकदम से तो फायदा आता नहीं है, लॉन्ग टर्म होता है। जिस डॉक्टर ने आपको प्रिस्क्राइब किया उससे जाके पूछिए, अपने आप से डिसीजन ना लीजिए। और ये सिर्फ बच्चों के लिए नहीं है, बड़ों के लिए भी, साइकियाट्रिक मेडिकेशन के लिए भी मैं ये बोल रही हूँ। हर चीज में, हम सेब खाते हैं, अंगूर खाते हैं, उन पे भी पेस्टिसाइड इंसेक्टिसाइड होते हैं, हर चीज का साइड इफेक्ट है। सो साइड इफेक्ट से मत घबराइए, लेकिन फायदे देखिए। कुछ चीजों में हमें उसके साथ में एडजस्टमेंट करनी पड़ती है, लेकिन बहुत सारी चीजों में फायदा होता है। और मैंने 30 सालों से ऊपर से काम कर रही हूँ, और मैं देख रही हूँ जिन बच्चों ने लगातार दवाई खाई है वो कहाँ से कहाँ पहुंच गए हैं और क्या कर रहे हैं, अनबिलीवेबल है। मेरे पास एक बच्चा आता था जो मेरा दरवाजा इतनी जोर से मारता था कि मुझे बहुत ज्यादा फील होता था कि दरवाजा अस्पताल का टूट जाएगा, और वो बच्चा आज पता नहीं आज कहाँ क्या परफॉर्मेंस कर रहा है, और 12वीं कक्षा तक ऑफ एंड ऑन उसने दवाई खाई है।
Yeah, very true. So people have the many questions, and can we take that one presentation, ma'am, from Nazia Ali?
Yes, sure.
Welcome, Nazia Ali. She is a assistant professor, occupational therapist, therapy, Department of Rehabilitation Science, Jamia Hamdard, New Delhi. So welcome, Nazia, and please present your presentation. And I'll give you 5 minutes and 3 minutes for discussion of your presentation. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. I think the screen is visible and my voice is clear.
Yeah, it is clear. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So I'll be presenting a study, a research basically, which we did recently. And it says assessing the perception of persons with disability towards their work environment and its relationship with work-related quality of life. So to start with, I would just like to give a small introduction about the topic. A person with disability is a person with long-term physical, mental, intellectual impairment, which interaction with barriers hinders his or her effective participation in society. What do we see in India is that is basically 5 to 6% of the population of India is person with disabilities, and also there are different kinds of disabilities, which could be like loss of locomotor skills, visual, hearing, speech, mental, and basically 70 million people are there with disabilities, and among them now what we have seen is through the regular efforts of our various scholars and the activists which are there working with people with disabilities, we have seen 0.1 million people have succeeded in getting employment. So, what do we see in regular settings is that people with different disability face various challenges, and the challenges could include different kind of things like a workplace setting, the accessibility, the environmental and the technological accessibility, various kind of things. As an occupational therapy, what occupational therapy does is provide clients with the tools to optimize their environments relative to individual abilities, and it promotes full participation in daily life activities. Also, occupational therapist works on the principles of ergonomics and universal design, and promotes a person with disability and reduces the risk of injury and falls, and helps in maximizing their functioning. So why did we do this study? Just because there was very less literature available on the topics, that is the perception of person with disabilities, and we'll be finding the relationship also with the quality of life. So basically, we have highlighted 4 aims and objectives. First was to see the perceptions of person with disabilities towards their work accessibility, environmental accessibility. Second is the difference in the perception of accessibility with different types of disabilities. And the next was to identify and assess the quality of life among person with disabilities. And then it was the finding the relationship between these two. So we took around 122% with disabilities, which were working in different sectors. The purpose of the study was explained in detail to the participants. Verbal consent and written consent were taken, and there were 2 tools which were taken. The first tool was the perceptions of person with disabilities questionnaire, which were designed by us, and it was basically based on the ADA checklist, and it had 64 items which were divided into 4 components, basically describing the building exterior, interior, washrooms, and the other access. The second questionnaire, that is the work-related quality of life scale, that is the 23 item scales, and it basically had a scoring point of 5-point scale, which strongly disagree, that is 1, range to strongly agree, that is 5. Going on to the results section, we actually found out that 68% among the participants were the males and 32% were the females. And what we found was that there were different types of disabilities which were there, which participated in the study. For example, locomotor disabilities, there were around 32% people. Intellectual disabilities were around 15%, visual were 5%, hearing impaired were 4%, auditory 5%, and so on. And we found that, there were post-polio residual paralysis, there were amputee cases, spinal cord injury cases, and etc. The different professions which, they were working in, some were teachers, front office people, attendants. There were few who were telephone operators, a few were factory workers, some were ticketing executives in Delhi Metro, some were, sports instructors. So we had, different kinds of population which was there. So coming on the basically the results which we found was that usually the percentage of people, that is 38% of professionals with disabilities, perceived their work environment to be accessible one. यानी कि 38% ने सिर्फ कहा कि accessible है. Rest of the people actually thought the work area, the environment, workplace environment was not accessible to them. So the second was the different types of disabilities. So the looking upon the locomotor disability, 52% of the disability people. This I think would be very easy to explain with these 2 diagrams. The left one showing the the physical disabled people. Basically, what they highlighted was they were having problems in the parking spaces, the lift area, the door and the door frames, and the washroom accessibility basically. And people who were visually impaired, hearing impaired, and auditory impaired, they were basically having problem firstly with the signages, then with the work stations, then with the lifts, washrooms, and other areas. So now coming to the work-related quality of life, what we found was that 61% of the participants reported less satisfaction with their work-related quality of life. That means they were saying that their quality of life basically is less. They were not agreeing to it, that they were less satisfied with themselves. So there was a need to assess the relationship between the two basically. So what we did was we analyzed the relationship between the two, and we found that the two measures were having, there were a significant correlation which was found between these two correlates. And to conclude with, that what was the study basically about? The study provided the evidence that 38% of the professionals with disabilities perceive their work environment to be an accessible one, that they agree that the environment were accessible, but only 38% did that. And 61% participants only reported that less satisfaction with their work related quality of life. And since we found out the relationship also between the two, it was seen that work related quality of life is affected by their environmental accessibility. So we can say, if our work environment is accessible, the work related quality of life of an individual definitely will improve. So to conclude with, what we found was that possible reasons of this can be the physical environment, which is inaccessible for persons with disabilities, and there is lack of assistive tools and technologies, and there is lack of relevant systems and services and policies which are there. Also, what the suggestions which I would like to give is that, there's a strong need for regular audit and making the workplace for person with disabilities. Also, appropriate referral should be made to occupational therapists for addressing these issues as early as possible.
Yes, Nadia, you are freezed. I think, ma'am, you want to say something, Roma ma'am?
हाँ, नहीं, बहुत अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन था।
जी,
ये
जी।
हमें मालूम है कि जो एक्सेसिबिलिटी है वो बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत है, लेकिन मैं कहूंगी कि पिछले 40 साल में और अब में बहुत ज्यादा अंतर आ गया है।
बहुत
इतने
ज्यादा।
सालों में बहुत चेंजेस आए हैं और बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, बट हर स्टडी इज क्वाइट गुड एंड दैट शी हैड डन अ गुड एफर्ट ऑन दैट। कुछ 2-4 सवाल थे, मैं ले लूं उनको? हेलो
जी 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 मैम, जी प्लीज।
एक तो ये था दैट टिल व्हाट एज विल एग्जिबिट हाइपर एक्टिविटी इन एडीएचडी। अक्सर क्या होता है कि बच्चे जब छोटे होते हैं तो वो एक जगह टिक के नहीं बैठते हैं, उछलते कूदते रहते हैं, तो ध्यान की कमी बोलते हैं, एडीएचडी बोलते हैं। लेकिन जैसे जैसे बड़ा हो जाता है बच्चा तो टिक के बैठने लग जाता है, लेकिन उसका ध्यान टिकता नहीं है। मतलब फिजिकली तो शायद टिक के बैठ जाएगा लेकिन ध्यान नहीं टिकेगा। सो हाइपर एक्टिविटी में चेंज हो जाता है, लेकिन एडीएचडी फिनोमिना अगर बच्चे में है तो वो वही रहता है, इसीलिए उसको हेल्प की जरूरत होती है। एक और सवाल है, जो मेडिटेशन हिप्नोथेरेपी कम्स अंडर ऑल्टरनेटिव थेरेपीज। लाइक आई सेड बिफोर कि आपको अपनी जो थेरेपीज हैं, जो बच्चे के साथ में अगर पढ़ाई के साथ है, स्पेशल एजुकेशन है, ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपी है, स्पीच एंड लैंग्वेज थेरेपी है, फिजियोथेरेपी है, और भी जो भी थेरेपीज हैं, उसके साथ में आपने ये करना है तो प्लीज कंटिन्यू विद दैट। बट इफ यू वांट टू डू ओनली मेडिटेशन एंड यू फील के एडीएचडी उससे चला जाएगा, नहीं, you have to use multiple therapies for the child to overcome all of this. And hypnotherapy सिर्फ hypnotherapy करने से कुछ हो जाएगा नहीं। World over, research also suggests that you have to use it with something else.
And then there is a one question, ma'am, also कि जो please answer how to identify whether behavior is sensory related or problem behavior.
हाँ, डिपेंड करता है बच्चे की डिसेबिलिटी पे, और बच्चा ये कब कब एग्जिबिट करता है ये वाला बिहेवियर। अक्सर हम सिर्फ कह देते हैं कि ये तो सेंसरी रिलेटेड बिहेवियर है और ये बिहेवियर प्रॉब्लम नहीं हो सकता। सो हमें देखना है कि बिहेवियर को हमने वर्क करना है, चाहे वो सेंसरी एरिया से रिलेटेड है, चाहे वो दूसरे एरिया से रिलेटेड है, पर हमें बिहेवियर को वर्क करना है जिससे कि बच्चा डिसफंक्शनल ना हो, बच्चा वेरियस सिचुएशंस में फंक्शनल रहे, डिस्पाइट द फैक्ट कि उसकी सेंसरी इश्यूज हैं या दूसरे इश्यूज हैं। सो हम सेंसरी इश्यूज बोल के सीधा ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपिस्ट पे भेज देते हैं, but it's a multidisciplinary approach. All of us needs to work on the child with even sensory issues.
वेरी ट्रू। मैम, ये एक क्वेश्चन है कि इट इज एक्सपेंसिव टू गो टू द मल्टीपल पर्सन फॉर थेरेपी।
जी हाँ, मैं समझती हूँ, हमारे यहाँ पर ये दिक्कत है। तो देखना पड़ेगा, बहुत सारी जगहें ऐसी हैं जहाँ पर आ, एक टीम में 3 ही लोग काम कर रहे होते हैं और वो सारे काम कर लेते हैं। दे आर वेल इक्विप्ड टू डील विद इट। यूजुअली ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपिस्ट, साइकोलॉजिस्ट कम काउंसलिंग या फैमिली या वो सब कर लेते हैं, और एक स्पेशल एजुकेटर होता है। ये सारे इकट्ठे काम कर लेते हैं। सो एक अंडर रूफ में, जहाँ एक वन रूफ के अंडर, जैसे कि आलोक जी के यहाँ है, वन रूफ के अंडर सारे थेरेपिस्ट अवेलेबल हैं, फिर एक्सपेंसिव नहीं पड़ता है। बट यस, दिस इज अ correct problem which is there in our country.
Yeah. I would also like to request our participants, if any question is from Nazia, you also can ask her. Nazia, your presentation was very good, very innovative, and I can say कि जो quality of life है, this is the joy of the every person. And I would have little time, so I'll take 1 or 2 minutes to say something. Way back, maybe it was about 5 to 8 years, or maybe 10 years back, we have seen that those who has the high support need, the severely and profoundly retarded persons, in our school itself we were seeing कि वो एक कलर कर रहा है तो डेली आता है और एक गोले में कलर कर रहा है, एंड डेली आया और वो मोती पिरोया, एंड आई हैव ऑब्जर्व्ड वन चाइल्ड, he is learning buttoning and made 4, 5, 6 years and he never learned to button it. So it went into my mind, and then I said कि what is need of coming every day here. देन हम लोगों ने एक WHO का जो क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ का एक प्रोग्राम है, दैट इज फॉर द पर्सन दोज हु आर ऑन द वेंटिलेटर, मींस एंड सपोर्ट पे है कि अब उसके लाइफ में अब कुछ बचा नहीं है। तो हमने वही चीज कंसेप्ट सोचा कि हमारे जो सीवियरली एंड प्रोफाउंडली हाई सपोर्ट नीड वाले लोग हैं, दे आर जस्ट कमिंग टू अस कि सिर्फ एक माला पिरोना है और एक बटन लगाने सीखना है और खाना खाने के लिए सीखना है। तो हम लोगों ने उनके लिए एक क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ इंडेक्स बनाया, and that index is based on the joy, how they are joyful for every day. And later on we started one quality of life center in this urban slum area, where the people from high support need, those who are living in the slum area, very pathetic conditions, they are coming into that center, and that center is named Saath Saath. And after some time, maybe a year and so, okay, I'll give you the one more here. When these children, these persons were coming to the center, they had the hygienic problem. They were not much hygiene. तो हमारे जो एजुकेटर्स होते थे वो बड़े डरते थे, और कभी कभी तो ये लोग पत्थर लेके आ जाते थे कि हम आज तो टीचर को पीट ही देंगे, मार ही देंगे. So after the intervention, after the proper quality of life intervention, means giving the joy to the person, if you are giving their day very joyful, तो 1 साल के अंदर ये चेंज आ गया कि जो लोग पत्थर लाते थे वो लोग, that girl सी bringing the apple to the teacher कि हम आज आपके लिए सेब ला रहे हैं, so stone to apple की कहानी हो गई. And those who were having the very hygienic conditions का जिसको प्रॉब्लम था, आफ्टर लर्निंग हेल्थ एंड ब्यूटी कोर्स इन मनोविकास, हमने अपने जो थेरेपिस्ट थे, ब्यूटी थेरेपिस्ट, वी रिक्वेस्टेड टू टीच देम टू हाउ टू डू द हेयर स्टाइल. सो वो अपना भी हेयर स्टाइल करना शुरू कर दिए, उनका जो लीच था, उनका जो प्रॉब्लम था वो खत्म हो गया. लेटर ऑन दैट गर्ल ऑल्सो गॉट ऑफर टू वर्क इन ए ब्यूटी पार्लर नियर बाय हर community. So the quality of life, if we talk about the quality of life, if we work on the quality of life, हम बहुत बड़ा change देख सकते हैं. And Nazia, your presentation was very good, and I'll connect with you because we are also working for the work related and work environment and employability of the persons with disability, खास करके those who has the intellectual and developmental disability. You have highlighted the very good thing, the accessibility versus quality of life. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर हम एक्सेसिबिलिटी जो 38% की बात कर रहे थे कि बहुत लोग खुश थे, मे बी बहुत सारे ऐसे डिसेबिलिटी हैं जहां पर कि एक्सेसिबिलिटी कोई जरूरत नहीं है, वहां पर एक नॉर्मल जो आम इन्वायरमेंट है उसमें वो काम कर सकते हैं. और that your research is saying कि 38% ऐसे लोग हैं पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी उसको एक्सेसिबिलिटी की जरूरत नहीं है, जस्ट क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ की जरूरत है कि एक जॉयफुल इन्वायरमेंट हो और वो वहां पर काम करे तो वो उसकी जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है दैट कैन इंक्रीज. एंड यू ऑल्सो सेड समथिंग दैट the work related quality of life, it is very important. work related quality of life अभी इस पे बहुत कम काम हुआ है. अगर हम देखें तो हम लोग अभी एक रिसर्च पेपर बना रहे हैं इस पे, लेकिन वर्क रिलेटेड क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ में हमें बहुत चीज देखना होगा, पॉलिसी देखना होगा जो आपने जरूर ऑलरेडी हाईलाइट किया. वी हैव टू थिंक अबाउट द सिस्टम, even the government norms. तो ये सारा चीज बहुत जरूरी है. And anybody has any question from Nazia, please ask her. We can take the one or two questions from her.
And thank you so much, sir. And I would really like to congratulate the whole team for bringing up such a nice conference, and really, overwhelmed to see all of the research presenters and, the speakers, especially Aloka Guha ma'am and Roma ma'am. I have heard them in various conferences and workshops, but it was a really pleasure, in being person with them and, presenting in front of them. So, and really, hats off to the team members.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Job, Nazia. You did a very good presentation, and your study is also very, very good.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Coming from you is really a pleasure for me.
We have one more question for Roma ma'am. Ma'am, do you think that the alternative subjects gives the CBSE for class 10, 9th and 10th help them for business, like business study and all these things?
So we are already giving children with disabilities the exemptions from certain subjects, and they are doing well. They have foundations of information technology, they have painting, they have music, they have entrepreneurship, they have many more other things also, and they're doing very well. If the subjects that they are not able to perform on because of their disability and those are exempted, I think they are doing wonderfully well, and I would say the boards are doing an excellent job. 30 साल पहले 35 साल पहले जब हमने इतनी कोशिश करी थी, जब बॉर्डरलाइन इंटेलिजेंस को कोई महत्व ही नहीं देता था, वो सिर्फ एक IQ जो इंटेलेक्चुअली इम्पेयर्ड थे उनको देते थे या लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटी को, तो जो बीच का एरिया उसको तो देते ही नहीं थे. तो उसके लिए इतनी मेहनत करनी पड़ी थी कि बॉर्डरलाइन इंटेलिजेंस को भी बच्चों को वो लोग मदद दें, क्योंकि वो फिर एक कैटेगरी है, ना इधर के रहते थे ना उधर के रहते थे. सो the provisions the board is giving is excellent. अभी जैसे कैलकुलेटर भी दे दिया, अगर मैथ्स आपकी नहीं गई है और आपने मैथ्स को रखना है तो आपको कैलकुलेटर भी दे दिया है. All these exemptions, all these provisions, extra time या writer, बच्चे का confidence ऊपर करते हैं. It is not just an academic achievement, it's the confidence that I am capable, I have the caliber, मैं कर सकता हूँ, मैं भी दूसरों की तरह बोर्ड का एग्जाम दे सकता हूँ या दे सकती हूँ. ये बहुत महत्व रखता है बच्चे के लिए भी, बच्चे की फैमिली के लिए भी और कम्युनिटी के लिए भी. So community upliftment होती है इस चीज से, So these are the accommodations which are very, very important.
And CBSE has given the skill knowledge provider status to Manovikas.
Yes, I'm aware.
And we are the
Very
first
good.
in country who received this status for the children with special needs, those who are going to the mainstream schools in Delhi and NCR region. So और ये बहुत पुरानी, मतलब कम से कम 5-6 साल पहले we have got this accreditation, that recognition. Here I would like to tell, even in the morning I have also highlighted, I have touched, not highlighted, I have touched that area. From class 9th onwards, the children has the opportunity to choose to replace the main subject from the vocational subject or skill knowledge subject. Skill knowledge subject is based on the NSQF, National Skill Qualification Framework. तो जिनको भी जरूरत हो कि अगर हम 9th class onwards बच्चे का कोई सब्जेक्ट चेंज कराना चाहते हैं, तो you can see on our website also all the informations are available. So that will be good कि 9th class के onwards से सिर्फ business study ही नहीं, हम हॉस्पिटैलिटी भी पढ़ा सकते हैं, IT भी पढ़ा सकते हैं, पेंटिंग्स भी पढ़ा सकते हैं, हेल्थ एंड ब्यूटी भी पढ़ा सकते हैं। तो बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस हैं वहां पर, 100 से ज्यादा ऑप्शंस हैं अब तो आज के डेट में। तो दैट यू कैन चूज एज पर द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन। So now I have seen that all the questions has up, and Roma ma'am, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alok.
And it is
It's
always pleasure.
wonderful to be with you. It's just too good to be with you.
Yeah.
You're doing such progressive work, working for the community. Very good. Keep doing that good job.
Yeah, thank you ma'am. And we would like to tell you कि आपका आना यहाँ पर हम लोगों के लिए बहुत बड़ा ब्लेसिंग हो जाता है। जब भी आप आती हैं तो बहुत, इवन इन द मशवरा देयर वाज द क्वेश्चन हु हैज कम मेनी टाइम्स इन द मशवरा, तो उसमें भी आपका ही नाम था। एंड वी ऑलवेज फील कि आपका एक हम लोगों के साथ जो रिलेशनशिप है वो बहुत ही घरेलू, बहुत ही स्पिरिचुअल है। एंड दिस इज, थैंक यू वेरी मच from our side. So thank you all the participants. Thank you Nazia for presentation, and thank you all. And I would like to tell you that we have shared all the evaluation sessions, feedback forms to you all, and later on if you are not able to open it, ये जो forms है, this forms will be open for next 30 minutes. So within the 30 minutes you fill the form, so that your form will ensure that you have presented in the conference. The first thing. Second thing, हमारे पास जब हम Zoom में we are doing all these things in the Zoom, so Zoom has the report who has participated, how many hours, how many times, which session. So please anybody if they are thinking कि आप अगर सोचते हैं कि हम ऐसे ही आ जाएंगे, कभी भी फॉर्म भर लेंगे, तो ऐसा नहीं है। आपका जो पार्टिसिपेशन है, अब जो कोविड आने के बाद जब हम लोग टेक्नोलॉजी पे आ गए, जब हम लोग ऑनलाइन पढ़ा रहे हैं, तो एवरीथिंग इज रिकॉर्डेड, एवरीथिंग इज वेरी मच डॉक्यूमेंटेड, एवरीथिंग हैज द डेटा। तो आप जैसे फॉर्म भरते हैं तो उसमें भी डेटा है कि आप कितने बजे फॉर्म भरे हैं। अगर मैंने आपको 30 मिनट पहले बोला है तो आप 30 मिनट पहले ही फॉर्म भरिए, 30 मिनट के अंदर ही फॉर्म भर दीजिए। अगर आप 1 दिन के बाद फॉर्म भरेंगे, 2 दिन के बाद फॉर्म भरेंगे, तो एक तो वो फॉर्म खुला नहीं रहेगा। दूसरा चीज है, प्लीज डोंट रिक्वेस्ट कि आप हमारा फॉर्म खोल दीजिए। कल से मैं कोई फॉर्म नहीं खोलने वाला हूँ। आपका जैसे ही सेशन खत्म होता है, देयर आफ्टर यू प्लीज फिल द फॉर्म विद इन 30 मिनट्स, एंड ऑल्सो कीप इन योर माइंड दैट योर अटेंडेंस, आई एम नॉट टेकिंग एनी अटेंडेंस, आई विल टेक द जूम अटेंडेंस, द जूम डेटा टू सेंड टू द RCI कि आपने कितनी देर, कितने घंटे हमारे पास पार्टिसिपेट किया है। और थैंक यू वेरी मच। इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस, एनी डाउट्स, एवरीथिंग इज ऑन आवर वेबसाइट, द training.manovikas.family. Please visit the website training.manovikas.family. There is all the questions, all the problems are solved. Even your score sheets are there. So I will just share the screen and show you कि आपका जो स्कोर सीट है वो ऑलरेडी आप देख सकते हैं अपने, कि आपने ये, आप जैसे ही जाएंगे training.manovikas.family के साइट पे और आप यहाँ पर CRE का पार्ट खोलेंगे। CRE का पार्ट खोलने के बाद you just see the session wise evaluation, and this session wise evaluation, this is the forms link, form session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4. अभी just session 4 is going on, so this session 4 का फॉर्म यहाँ पर खुला हुआ है, you can fill it, and thereafter you want your score, तो you can see इसके नीचे जब आप स्क्रॉल करेंगे तो आपके नाम के साथ कुछ तो ऐसे हैं, but just you scroll it, you will get the all the details within your कि आपका क्या क्या स्कोर था, किस में था, और ये सेम स्कोर शीट आपको ऑलरेडी ईमेल पे भी मिल रहा होगा। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू फॉर नाउ ऑन, एंड आई होप कि आज का सेशन बहुत अच्छा रहा होगा, एंड आई विल रिक्वेस्ट यू ऑल प्लीज be with us at 9:30 or 9:45 a.m. in the morning tomorrow, so that we can start the session on time and we can finish before the time. So thank you all, and please go to our website. Those who has not received the feedback or evaluation sheet, go to the website training.manovikas.family. There you find out your form. So thank you for now. So thank you all. So Subh Ratri, sabak hai. Thank you.